Hi, this is Dwyer, gamblersadvisory.com. Here with some thoughts about a fascinating fight coming up between two lesser known fighters, but I believe this fight, even though they've only given it 2 stars on boxrec.com, I believe this fight could have repercussions for boxing. The winner of this fight may well go on to get a title in the near future. And it's a fight on the undercard of Manny Pacquiao versus Shane Mosley between Mile High Mike Alvarado, and he's taking on the Emperor Sugar Ray Narh. Now, before I go further, just consider this video to be a second opinion from a complete stranger online. The opinion you should follow should be your own. It's my belief that um, some of these fights between contenders are major. Within the last 2 years, we had an awfully good one between lesser knowns at the time, Marcus Maidana and Victor Ortiz. Now, Maidana, of course, is now well known among the boxing public. Victor Ortiz left the 140-pound division, gained weight, and is now the welterweight champion. These less heralded fights often have hungry fighters, and it's my belief, my bias, that some of these hungry contenders are as good, if not better, than some of the existing champs. Now, let me just say, both Mile High Mike Alvarado and Ray Narh are over 30. Alvarado was a hot prospect. He did beat Andre Durrell in the amateurs. Then Alvarado made some mistakes. It happens. Served some time. Has his career back on track. Has a lot of buzz. Has a very big knockout punch. Now, Ray Narh might be the best fighter out of Ghana. And keep in mind, that would be huge because Ghana has such fighters as Joseph Agbeko and Joshua Clottey. But Ray Narh, who won the gold medal in the Commonwealth Games that took place in Malaysia, and who was on the 2000 Olympic team, but then lost to eventual silver medalist Andrei Kotelnik, who would then go on to win a world title after he turned pro. Narh seems to have had some promotional problems. At one point, he took more than a year off, did not fight, but his skill set, quite frankly, is off the page. He's 32 years old. I have no idea how he has not fought for a major title yet. When you see him, you'll realize that this is a guy who simply is blessed with foot speed, a high work rate. He's a boxer puncher. And when I say puncher, I'm talking about a guy who has a more than 80% knockout ratio. I actually view him as the more talented guy in this fight. One of his nicknames is Sugar Ray Narh. All I can say is he is reminiscent of Sugar Ray Robinson. He's a boxer puncher, kind of like Nonito Donaire. And I just think he's going to have too much volume for Mike Alvarado and too much movement for Mike Alvarado. Understand, Ray is going to throw close to 100 punches around. And he also has a gift that is very rare in boxing. He doesn't have to set his feet to get off power shots. At least it's an optical illusion, right? Obviously, he's getting leverage from somewhere. But just like great punchers like Prince Nassim Hamed, who seem to throw very hard punches from very awkward stances. Ray Narh seems to be able to just literally bounce around the ring and then get off very heavy punches. Also, if you look at his resume, you're going to see that he's beaten people like Kaiser Mabusa, others who had Olympic medals. He actually has not been as coddled as his record would suggest. He only has one loss. Apparently, he was caught by Kid Diamond in 2004 at the end of the first round and got knocked out. That's his one loss. My recommended play in this fight is that you take Ray Narh to win the fight, straddled against Mike Alvarado by knockout. I don't know who wins the fight. I'll just be blunt. I feel Ray is more talented, but Mike is awfully talented as well, and he is an unbeaten fighter. Also, understand, behind the scenes, even though most of the boxing public doesn't know who these guys are, understand that Roy Jones's company, Square Ring, is behind Ray Narh, and understand that Bob Arum's Top Rank is behind Mike Alvarado. That's why these gentlemen are on the Manny Pacquiao undercard. Also, be aware of how they're going to structure that undercard. Shane Mosley against Manny Pacquiao, that's pay-per-view. But this fight is actually going to be on Showtime. So if you're a Showtime subscriber here in the United States, you'll actually be able to watch that fight. I'm positive that overseas, they will give viewers as well in the UK and other countries the option of seeing this fight without buying the pay-per-view package. I'm just telling you, both of these men are immensely talented. Alvarado, let me talk about him for a second. Alvarado is a guy who literally throws very heavy punches. He's able to bounce around a bit. And if you see his fight against Cesar Baizan, granted, it's a few years old. Keep in mind, Mike made some mistakes and actually had to interrupt his boxing career for some time in the pen. But if you see that Cesar Baizan fight, you're going to see that Baizan understands when he hits the canvas that fighting Alvarado is futile because Alvarado, quite frankly, is an offensive juggernaut and he's not exactly anchored to the canvas. It's just that he's fighting a guy who has even more mobility than he does, right? And so you're talking about Alvarado, who has a greater than 70% knockout ratio, going up against Ray Narh, who has a better than 80% knockout ratio, and who is, quite frankly, a guy, in my opinion, who actually has more pure boxing skills than someone like Shane Mosley. So don't get fooled by the lack of notoriety that these guys have, right? You don't have to be famous to be good. This fight is a big-time stepping stone fight. The winner should be in line for a major title shot. And let me just say, if the winner is Ray Narh, I'm telling you there is a distinct possibility that he could actually clean out the ranks at 140. He's 32 already, and he's awfully good. I think he beat some of the big names at 140. And keep in mind, some of the other names at 140 are going to be eliminated just because of the matchups, right? Amir Khan is fighting Timothy Bradley, right? The winner of that fight will have a title. The loser will not. So as 140 reconfigures itself, I'm just telling you, if Ray Narh wins this fight, he's going to be right there, and skill-wise, I think he's an elite fighter. So my recommendation is Ray Narh to win, straddled against Alvarado by KO. I believe this fight is as much of a must-see fight for boxing geeks like me as the Manny Pacquiao Shane Mosley fight. This is a major crossroad fight. just like Marcos Maidana versus Victor Ortiz was a couple years ago. Let me know what you think. Leave your comments for me here on YouTube. Visit predictboxing.blogspot.com and gamblersadvisory.com. And win, lose, or draw, all I ask is that after the fight you stop by and let me know your thoughts. Thanks for watching.